Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to the new tutorial from the SketchUp Arc Studio. Today I'm going to show you about the interior lighting and interior rendering in Enscape for SketchUp. As you can see, this is the simple TV show environment in here related to the interior design. So right now we don't have any type of problem. But what happened if we close all the windows and only we have some closed area in here? So I'm gonna first of all set my camera shot. For this reason, I'm gonna click on the visual setting, output option, and I need some type of, for example, full HD resolution. So I'm gonna click on the save frame in here and I'm gonna press F. So I'm gonna create my first camera shot, something like that, for example, with some distance about this. The pitch is about 0, the yaw is about 54, and other type of things are completely done for us. And about the TV in here, it's about new movie from the Denzel Washington called Equalizer 3. So I prefer to add the texture of it on my TV to make this render much realistic. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm gonna add this camera shot to my favorite scene and type, for example, ES1 example name for my CAD view. So the X and Y is not really important, so I'm gonna adjust all of them very fast and easy. Some type of eye height about 1.20 and the negative 0.9 is really good for our job. But about the assembly position, we have some interesting and important point for you. If I hold shift and right click, this is the 6 a.m. near to the morning. So I want to change it to the night mode to see what happened. For example, 12 a.m. completely 12 a.m. In the altitude, I'm going to type negative 90 degree and azimuth is not important right now. But sometimes you can change it manually and completely depends on you. So I'm going to type for the altitude negative 90 and press create. Now I have some camera shots called ES1 in my Enscape environment. So how we can light and completely visualize this interior render in this scene. So I'm going to close the Enscape, save my project, and I'm gonna start my job with the lighting. First of all, I'm gonna start my job with these lights and objects I downloaded from the Enscape environment and assets. So I'm gonna draw some type of gravitational line, something like this. For example, I want to have some type of sun or light direction in this place, for example. And something like that is not bad. So I'm gonna click on the Enscape objects in here and click on the spotlight and start my drawing the spotlight. Very simple, as you can see in this line in here. Now we have some type of a spotlight in this angle. So I'm gonna move it from this point to this place, I think. Something like that. And I'm gonna delete this line because it's not really important in here. So I'm gonna take another copy in this place, something like that. And now I'm gonna select both of these lights and take another copy in green axis. So I'm gonna flip all of them and I'm gonna move it in this point, something like that. For the background light, I need another type of spotlight, but I don't know how to create it. For this reason, besides the spotlight, I prefer to use sphere light. So I'm going to click on the sphere light and double click in my environment. Very simple and easy. So I'm going to move it a little bit in here, like that, in this place. I'm going to make it a little bit to the downside and take several copies in some good distance for the 3 times in here. Alright, in this place we have some type of floor lamp in here. Actually, floor lamps have some type of 2-side brightness. So I'm going to draw some light on the blue axis in here. I'm going to click on the Enscape objects, use the spotlight, and create my spotlight very fast and easy, and delete these extra line in here. So it depends on your system and your graphic card, but I prefer to use all of these light settings when my Enscape is closed. So I'm going to move it to the downside, about 26 for example, or 20. And another time I'm going to take another copy and flip it on the blue axis like this one. So everything is good for me, and only I need some lights in here. As you can see, we have some pink colors in this place and another hidden light in here. So I'm going to convert all of these textures to the self-illuminate light. For this reason, I hold them and I'm going to completely check all of my lights. So I'm going to use the spotlight. Another time in here, I'm going to push it to this place. It takes a little bit time, but be patient please, because if you spend more time on your 3D models and rendering settings, you will be achieved to the best results. So I'm going to take some copies in some distances like that, and I need several copy like this. So everything is good, I think, not very bad, but I need a little bit adjustment, about 1 centimeter or 1.4, something like that. Alright, everything is good for me, and I'm gonna change the direction of these lights, but I don't know how. When I'm gonna click and double click on this spotlight, as you can see, I can change the direction of it, very simple, and it completely depends on you. For example, I prefer to use it in this place, something like that, and deselect it from here. Alright. I'm going to click on these lights in here, and I'm going to click on the Enscape objects and load IES profile. For this reason, I'm going to click on the Arc Studio, and in this place I have some visual tools called IES Light. So I prefer to use some light like the 7 IES and create on the open. So I'm going to increase the luminance intensity about 10, and it's only for the testing. So we will change it after all of the sections. In this place, I'm going to click on the Enscape object, load IES profile, and use the number 5 of the IES profile and press open. Add some luminance about 10. I repeat that, all of them is only one test. So, and in this place, we don't need to do anything. And in here, I'm going to click and adjust my final IES profile to this job, about, for example, number 11. And add some type of intensity about 10. So, everything is done for me. I'm going to save my job in this place, and I'm going to start Enscape again. So I click on it. The point is that all the materials, reflection, specular, and other type of settings related to the textures done by me before this video. So we only focus on the lighting in some type of closed rooms and areas without any type of window. Alright, as you can see, the result of the lighting can appear very fast and soon. So I'm going to click on the F in here. ES number 1 is my favorite camera shot. And don't worry about the lighting, we will fix it right now. So I'm going to minimize the Enscape, minimize the SketchUp. So time for the lighting. I start my light with this place. So I'm going to click on it, but we have some problem in here. The left side is really more brightness than the other places. For this reason I'm fixing, click on the sphere light, click on the Enscape object, and decrease the luminance intensity a little bit, something like that. So some number about 46 candela is really useful for the sphere lights, and the point is that we only work with some lights like the spotlight. So I'm going to start my job with these spotlight in here. So I'm going to click on it, Enscape object, and start increasing the light power in here. As you can see, the result is completely visible for us. So when I increase it too much, I can see more results in here. And it completely depends on you and your taste. So I prefer to increase it a little bit, about some number like 20,000 candela, and press enter. Alright. In this place we have some problem, I think, about the lighting, but don't worry about it, we can fix it. If I delete this light in here and this one in here, as you can see, we only have these two lights in this place. So now the problem is fixed. About the textures and materials, I'm going to click on the visual setting. I'm going to zoom a little bit on my favorite shot, something like that, for example. About 44° horizontal or 41, something like that. So I'm going to click on the Enscape material editor. We have two types of lights, hide light number 1 and number 2. I'm going to start my job with the number 1 and convert it to the self-illuminate, and the hide light number 2, I'm going to convert it to the self-illuminate again. The result like that. So I'm going to reduce the power of it very fast. Some type of small line like this is really useful. And about the pink color, I'm going to convert it to the self-illuminate, and this is the result that we have in here. As you can see, very easy. You only play with the light setting for the Enscape rendering. So I'm going to type 66 candela. Something like that is really good. And the roughness is about 2%. So highlight number 1 and number 2 is really good in here. And I'm going to click on these spotlights in here. So I'm going to click on one of them, click on the Enscape objects, and start increasing the light power. Very simple and easy. As you can see, some number near to the 100 can improve our needs very fast and soon. So we only have some problem in this place and this lighting. So I'm going to click on this light in here. Look at these place in my rendering. I'm going to click on the Enscape object and increase the luminance, power and intensity. As you can see at the right side of my render, I can see very smooth and realistic lighting. And I'm going to increase it a little bit more than other type of lights. Something about, for example, maybe 560 candela is really useful. So another problem in this place related to the color and tone of the lighting. I need some type of warm lights. What can I do in here? Very simple. I'm going to click on the paint bucket and use some type of colors like the creamy color for my lights. And the result is that very fast you can change the color of the light in here. For example, I'm going to click on that, select this one, this one, this one, all of them, and click on one of them, and the lighting completely changed for us. So if you want more warm renders, you can add this color to the sphere lights in here, and now you have some completely warm lighting in your environment. So I have some problem with this stone and marble in here, so I'm going to click on the marble number 6 in this place and increase the roughness a little bit to the 19%. Now the reflection is much better. Metallica is the 0 and specular about 16. Alright, something like that is much realistic than the other type of things in here. So I'm going to click on the highlight number 2. Alright, and increase the luminance power a little bit. And now the result is much better. 600 candela per meter is really good, and other type of things are completely done for us. So I'm going to click on the Enscape environment in here. Lighting is over for us, but I have some problem with this frame and lighting. How I can solve these type of problems in Enscape? Very simple and easy. So I'm going to press F on my keyboard, come back to my ES number 1 interior design camera shot, and everything is done in here. So I'm going to click on the visual setting. Look at the details of this texture. It's really wonderful. It's related to the plaster from the Enscape online material library. So I'm going to turn off the auto exposure and exposure my screen manually. Something like that. For example, 91% is really good number in here. So look at these lights in this place. Actually, it's the white color, so I really don't enjoy with these type of colors. So I prefer to convert my highlight number 1 to some type of bisco color and warm color. So bisco and bisco. Alright. Now it's much better, really. So everything is done for us right now, and time for the rendering, but we don't know how. I'm gonna click on the maximizing Enscape in here, and I have some problem with the TV frame, so I'm gonna click on the Enscape material editor. I'm gonna find TV frame in here, and I need some type of completely metallic material in this place. 60% for it, and convert the color to the white mode. Now it's much better. And TV screen related to the equalizer texture. So I'm going to reduce the roughness from 90 to the 46%, and now it's much better. So I'm going to maximize the Enscape, click on the visual setting in here, and exposure is done for us. I'm going to turn on the depth of field. As you can see, we have some type of artistic renders like that, but it's not really useful right now. So I'm going to play with the focal point to focus on my target. My target is the TV and the TV wall stone and the equalizer 3. So I'm going to focus on it with some type of number like 6.35 meter. And I'm going to decrease the depth of field to the 11. Alright, everything is good for us right now, and I'm going to click on the image bar. I prefer to use auto contrast for these type of dark renders, because Enscape can be calculate environment much better than your experience. So I need some warm environment, so I'm going to decrease the color temperature to some number like 3600 Kelvin, and the saturation about 104%. Now it's much better. You can see some live render in here. Motion blur is not really useful, but the lens flare. Look at these lights in here. When I increase the bloom option, you can see some type of lens flare in this place. And when I increase it, it will get much better. So I prefer to use some lens flare with some high value, about 77%, and the bloom is about, for example, 9%. Now it's much better. The vignette in some dark areas like that is really important. So I prefer to use some low value for the vignette. It's about 6%, and chromatic completely 0 because it's not really useful in here. Atmosphere. Fog is not important. Some brightness is totally not important. Night sky is not important. And shadow sharpness. In the interior renders, you need soft shadows. So convert soft shadow to the 0%, like that. So artificial light brightness related to all of these spotlights and hidden lights. For this reason, if I increase the artificial light, you can see the result in your renders and make your renders much realistic. But watch out and be careful to don't use it, no decay. So 106% is wonderful for this render, and the wind is not really important in here. So in the skybox we don't have anything special, so I'm going to convert it to the clear mode and white background. So all the things done for us in here and nothing for the changing. I only have some little problem with the auto exposure. So I'm going to check the auto exposure in here and increase my exposure to the 66%. So everything is good for us right now, but the MDF material in here is not realistic. So how can I change it? Very simple. I'm going to minimize this screen in here in Enscape material editor. I'm going to find the MDF units, wood 43, and roughness is about, for example, 10. And I need some type of dark color for it, some type of tint and dark color like 78%. Now it's much better. Or you can use some type of gray tint color for it. So it's really good for us in this place. I'm gonna maximize my rendering quality to the ultra mode, and time for the rendering. So I'm going to click on the screenshot button in here, as you can see. But before it, I have some problem with this floor lamp in here. So I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to move it in the SketchUp environment. So I'm going to select this floor lamp with the IES lights, and I'm going to move it a little bit to this place. Now it's much better in your rendering. And you can see the effects when you work with the Enscape more than it. So everything is done for us. ES number 1 is my favorite camera shot, and I'm gonna render this photo. So I'm gonna click on the screenshot button in here, and this is my final step. So I'm gonna save it on my desktop with the JPG format and press save. So as you can see, we create this type of interior visualization and lighting, very simple, easy and fast with the Enscape 3.5.2. If you like this video, please subscribe our YouTube channel. It's one of the full tutorials that I have ever taught in my YouTube channel. So we need your support. Thanks for your watching. And my render is about 100%, near to the 100%, and this is the final result in here. I'm gonna open it for you, and this is the final shot that we have in this place. Thanks for your watching, thanks for your support, and goodbye.